as well as the sharp tone he used on anyone he thought beneath him. "I thought I saw something, my lord, running alongside the road and into the trees." The driver's response was surprising. Surely the man would know better than to think his employer would offer aid to anyone. "It was a deer, most likely. Drive on," Harrelson snapped. "What if she's gotten out?" Alex's eyes narrowed at that telling statement. Not just a simple servant, but an accomplice, he thought. The driver was involved, an active and knowing participant in Harrelson's crimes. And so was the woman making her brave escape, albeit unwillingly. Harrelson's dismissive snort of laughter echoed toward him. "No one ever has, Jones. Drive on." The driver cracked a whip over the horses, and they kicked up once more, the carriage lurching reluctantly into motion. All of his attention was focused on the woman. She'd held her breath the entire time, as if even an exhale might have been enough to give away her position. He saw her body sag as the air hissed out of her in a rush. Emerging from the trees, just enough to let her see him, he asked the one question that had been burning in his mind since he'd watched her duck and hide from them. "How did you know?" She peered toward him, and he realized that given his shadowy position beneath the trees, he could see far more of her than she could see of him. He didn't want to frighten her, but his face was not unknown to the world. His infamy might prove to be his downfall if she recognized him. Keeping back into the shadows, he watched her carefully. He saw her shoulders stiffen and her chin come up defiantly. "I won't go back. You may as well kill me now." Her vow was uttered quietly with desperate bravado, but beneath that was a steely resolve that impressed him. Regardless of his grudging respect of her, he had to insist. She was the break he'd been looking for, after all. This woman, the daring escapee, was the link that would lead him to whatever despicable dealings Harrelson was involved with. He needed her to help him find the truth, once and for all. "You will go back," he said softly, but with complete conviction. He needed to know what they were doing, what part she had been expected to play in it, and how on earth Helena might have been involved. He stepped closer, close enough that he could see the shadows of exhaustion beneath her eyes and the remnants of silvery moonlight giving way to dawn. "What is your name?" "Mary Benedict." It was a lie, of course. He couldn't keep a grin from spreading across his lips as he recognized it for a blatant untruth and admired her for it. Tiny as she was, there was something very fierce about her. That fierceness should have given him some clue as to her intentions. Alex reached for her, but before his hand even closed on her wrist, she'd brought her knee up hard. He dodged the blow at the last second, managing to avoid a direct hit. The more vulnerable parts of his anatomy were still grazed enough by it to leave him gasping. He watched, stunned, as she fled once more into the woods. Shaking his head to clear it, he resisted the urge to reassure himself that all parts of him were still there and functional. Alex wondered how such a slip of a girl had managed to very nearly unman him. After a moment, when the fear of casting up his accounts from that particular agony had passed, he rose to his feet. Drawing several deep breaths to fortify himself, he loped after her in pursuit. Despite her exhaustion and her bare feet, she managed to go a greater distance than he would have given her credit for. She looked back at him over her shoulder, and then veered off the path into the denser trees. He knew the woods like the back of his hand, and the area she'd stepped into was treacherous. The trees there had grown tangled over time, their heavy roots protruding from the ground like the twisted fingers of an aged crone, almost as if they meant to rise up against man. Alex opened his mouth to call out a warning, but it was too late. He saw her stumble over the gnarled roots of an alder tree and fall. She did not rise, but continued to lie there, her pale form completely still in the shadows as the forest grew eerily silent about them. Rushing forward, he stared down at her in horror. He could see a dark stain spreading over the dirty neckline of her shift, the thick and viscous liquid trickling over her pale flesh. Alex turned her gently, examining the wound just above her temple. There was blood.